Alrighty. So, been getting lots of questions on Retatrutide. I'm going to try to keep these little videos to 3 to 5 minutes. So the big thing going on right now is that you can't microdose Reta. First of all, we need the definition of what microdosing is. Microdosing is taking a little tiny bit over a period of time, and that helps kind of do things. So think like like for a full psychedelic function of psilocybin, you're using 5 grams, but instead of using 5 grams, you use 0.05 grams every day. It's a different function, that type of thing. The way that I like to do Reta, and that we've had phenomenal success with, we're looking at 15, 20 pounds, on people after 6-8 weeks, something like that, a month. We're looking at 15 pounds lost in a month, 15, 20 pounds lost in a month, type of thing. I don't consider it microdosing. That depends on how everybody else wants to look at it. We do 1 shot every day, and it ends up being more than you would normally take for a 1 shot a week. So let's say you're starting off at 2.5 mgs. The way that we do it, you'll end up taking about 2.7 for the week, but you're doing it every day. The reason that I like to do it every day is that not everyone has the same reaction to everything. I have patients who can feel it at that level. And so we need to make sure that we're not over pushing people and overburdening people, giving people a little bit of time to figure out, hey, how does your body respond to this? How do you feel? How does it work? Before we start moving the levels up. So that's the way that we do it. If you guys want to jump in and experiment with taking larger doses all at once, that's fine. It does have a 6-day half-life, roughly 144 hours, basically. And so what ends up happening is if you take a little bit every day, it starts stacking up. And then you can kind of move up gradually. You can kind of figure out like, hey, if I take this much every day, I feel, this much of the symptoms, like, a little bit of nausea or a little bit of, any of this, burping or any of that type of stuff. Great. And like, that'll be your level for right now. We can offset that with supplementation, things like that, and you'll be good. So there are kind of different ways of doing it. I also would not tell you to take a little tiny bit all the time if that's not going to help much. You need to get to a functional level, and that functional level, usually you need more as you go along. So that is one of those things that you're gonna have to ramp that up. And then I would highly recommend that you plan it out so you can ramp it back down. Because once you start ramping it back, once you get to the point like, oh, I've got everything I want to do, if you just jumped off right there, your body's used to getting that support, and so it's not going to get it. So if you slowly ramp back down, that would be beneficial. As far as maintenance goes, taking a little bit here and there, probably a great idea. We'll work with that as we, the more and more people that we see doing it. But a lot of people don't need it at all once they're done. For those questions on Reta, why else are we doing it for outside of fat loss? Great question. One of the big things that it does do is it removes visceral fat. The visceral fat produces cytokines, which is inflammatory, and it causes all sorts of problems: sleep apnea, arterial plaquing, all kinds of problems in the heart. And like, just Google visceral fat negatives, like what's wrong with visceral fat, and you're going to find lots and lots of stuff. You definitely want to do whatever you can from a health perspective to get rid of your visceral fat. So Reta is a phenomenal way of doing that. We've seen really, really great results. I've had to turn my CPAP down. I don't snore anymore, which is a massive thing. We've had a couple other patients kind of tell us the same thing. So it's a really, really big deal for health, not just vanity and trying to get stuff off. Done right, it works really, really well. The other thing that I like to do is, remember, when you start taking something, let's say your body's metabolic function has been messed up because of all the lies the medical system's told you, and all the bad food and dyes and all that trash. And we're like, all right, we're gonna turn it back on. We're gonna get your system working the way it's supposed to with Reta, and you're gonna burn a lot more fat. Well, guess what? If you want your body to do something, you got to give it the nutrients it requires to do it. But if your body hasn't been doing that thing for a while, it's not going to respond super great. Think of it this way. The first time you go to the gym in 6 months, you're going to be really sore. If you've been working out really hard for 6 weeks, you go get a great workout, you're not going to be sore the next day. So what we do is we feed the body. We pull the parasites out. We pull some of the heavy metals and some of the plastics, some of the waste products out with different supplementation. We feed the liver with methylated B vitamins and things like TUDCA and stuff like that. So we make sure that the body is fed the nutrients it requires to produce the enzymes to actually break down the fat effectively without giving you liver, gallbladder, cholecystitis, pancreatic issues, things like that. And we also feed the organs the things that they're going to need to produce all the chemicals. So, if your pancreas isn't being fed and stuff like that, we need to make sure we get those fed. Now, synergistic stuff. Man, as we've been starting to use the growth hormones, and then my guys and myself who are using these, like the CJC 1295 with ipamorelin, we mix that with Loretta, major awesome boost to it. So if you guys are looking to kind of enhance what you're doing and working out, it'll help build, not just retain, but build muscle mass, which is going to increase your metabolic function and everything. It's also going to help burn fat, and then it'll help kind of supercharge everything that's going on. So if you're looking for like, hey, the Retta's working great, but I also want to make sure that we're building the muscle back, that's a fantastic ad as well. We've seen some research, we've seen some stuff with, BPC 157, TB 500, GHK. So basically the clove stuff, helping with keeping the skin from getting saggy and stuff like that. So those things are great. If you guys are looking for more stuff like that, give us some questions. We'll hit it up. If you guys have any other things, see you in the DMs. Have a fabulous day. Thanks for your time.